Hello and welcome to another one of my videos. Now today I'd like to return back to the US and take a look at one of their slightly newer menus, the menu 14 Mexican style rice and bean bowl. So let's get this on a table and see what this pack contains. And so, as you can see, I now have here on the table this US MRE menu number 14, the Mexican style rice and bean bowl. Now this is one of their relatively newer menus. I've not tried this one yet. I think it replaced the spinach fettuccine, which was a bit like Marmite, you either loved or you hated. As always, comes in the standard US MRE bag. You need to peel on the easy peel tear strip. So if I can just get that to open, there we go. So fingers on the strip and pull. Wow, this is not going to go. It's been one of the first ones in a long time which won't go, so as always I'm bringing in my friend. So not such an easy peel tear strip on this one. So what does this AmeriQual menu 14 Mexican style rice and bean bowl contain? Well, first off, being AmeriQual, it contains a double bag. So we shall just tear that. As I've said before, I think I do like the double bags. It just seems to give it that extra bit of extra freshness, protection. Shame not all the companies do that. There seems to be a little bit of an issue going on with the seam sealing there. So what does this menu 14 actually contain? We're starting off right off the bat. We have some pretzel nuggets, honey and mustard and onion flavour. We have the Mexican rice and beans. There is the heating sleeve with the ingredients. If I hold them up, you might be able to just pause if you're interested, have a look at the ingredients and the calorific value. But that is the heating sleeve. We also have the standard US accessory pack, which I can see contains a Bill's Brew coffee, sugar, whitener, gum and towelette. We shall open that in a moment. We also have the Cran Raspberry First Strike energy bar. There is a very scrunched up pack of peanut butter. We also have crackers, a chocolate protein drinks powder. See if I can get all these on and keep them in shot. There is some powdered hot sauce. It's the first time I've seen this. I've never seen some powdered hot sauce before in a US ration. First one for me. The flameless ration heater. The good old US MRE spoon. And the beverage bag for heating and measuring the water for the beverages. So this is the entire contents of the newer menu 14 Mexican style rice and bean bowl. Difficulty with my words there. So let's get these on a tray and see what they look and taste like. And so, as you can see, I now have here laid out on the tray the contents of this US menu 14 Mexican style rice and bean bowl. As always, I've had the main boiling for about 10 to 12 minutes, so it's nice and hot. I'm going to start where I normally like to start, and that is with the hot drinks. So we still have the accessory pack to open. So typical standard accessory pack we've seen many times before now in the US MREs. So there is the TP, so the toilet paper. There is a moist towelette, which I'll just put up there in case I need it. We have a non-dairy creamer, a Bill's Brew coffee, a sugar and a low calorie sweetener. We have the good old cinnamon flavoured gum and a little packet of iodized salt. I've noticed these have started to change. They're a lot less, a lot smaller. I think most people just use them to get the flameless ration heaters going, so they're probably reducing the amount of salts they're giving. So starting off with the drinks, I'm going to go straight for the Bill's Brew coffee. Now I've only had a successful, as I say every time, I've had about 3 I think now where these have not been compromised. Even if the ration is quite fresh, they seem to suffer very badly from damp and mould, but this one looks okay. It's a large granule, medium looking roast in colour. I'm going to make it how I like it, so I'm going to add the creamer. So they're being very stubborn to open these little packets today, but there's the creamer. And it almost seems farcical that they add sweetener when there are so many sugars and other energy providers in the meal, but I won't use the sweetener today. I will use the sugar. But it's almost funny. It's like those that order the biggest Domino's pizza or everything at a McDonald's and then ask for a Diet Coke. It's sort of pointless, really. So there we go, standard style coffee, and using the spoon obviously that came with it, the good old US MRE spoon. We'll give it about half a mug of water. That's a good mix. Moving along, the next drink we have is this chocolate protein drinks powder. It does say mix with about 1/3 of a canteen cup of water, but they also give you a fill line, so I'm going to use that today. So chocolate protein drinks powder, and I'm just going to pour it cold water to the line and make it in the container there. So let's try and fill it up to its fill mark, which is about there. Then we'll seal it. Make sure it's well sealed. Fold over as well. I want no catastrophes. And we'll just give this a good shake. It does say shake for approximately 60 seconds. I think I shall give it about half that, because how many troops do you know I've got time to stand there shaking this for a whole minute? So we'll just try and be realistic. Let's see how it looks. That should be about 30 seconds or so. See how it looks after that. So I've got a glass here, so I shall pour it into the glass. Obviously the troops will drink it straight out of the pouch. So it's a very thick looking, almost like a chocolate dairy shake, chocolate milkshake. Moving on round, we'll have a look at this pretzel nuggets, honey mustard and onion flavour. Some strange flavours and combinations to the UK palate. But I shall empty all of those. We won't be needing the oxygen remover. So that is the whole packet there. Still going round, the customary crackers. Looks like they're nicely sealed. Listen for the hiss. No hiss, not that I noticed, but I'm sure they are still good. Sometimes these are overly vacuumed and they come out in pieces. Other times you can get them all out in one. So today they came out intact. To go with the crackers, I assume, because there's nothing else, we've got some peanut butter. So I've already pre-kneaded this as well while waiting for the meal to heat. So I'll just bring in a friend just to help take that corner off the pack. So there's the peanut butter going on round. We have the cran raspberry flavour first strike bar. I've had these many times before. I do actually personally prefer the chocolate, but there is the cranberry and raspberry flavour first strike bar. Wet nap on standby. Hot sauce at the ready. So that just now leaves the main ingredients, the main meal, the Mexican rice and beans. So there is a tear strip to tear the lengthways, but just because it's easier for me, I'm going to bring in the old friend. Obviously the troops will eat out of the pouch, but just because I have and just because I can, I'm going to put mine in a bowl. Try and get as much of that out as possible. Again, as I say, in every menu, this is going to form my brunch, late breakfast, early lunch today. I do have to buy these things, so I'd never like to waste good money by throwing them away, so I do make them as part of my daily meals when I review them. So I'm going to start now where I normally like to start, that is with the Bill's Brew coffee. Now I've had these a couple of times before. Usually they're a medium roast, not overly exciting. You wouldn't say they're the best quality out there. This particular one is slightly bitter. There's a slight bitterness to it, not too bad. It is a store brand style, cheap-ish sort of instant coffee, but that said, it's a recognisable coffee, a taste of home. Probably just not the best out there, but then again, when is an instant ever great? But certainly a taste of home when you need it. Have a look at this thick chocolate protein drink. Very thick, very chocolatey, very sweet. It is still got some crunch going on. It's not fully mixed. I did only give it half the time, but realistically no trooper is going to stand in the field shaking this for a full minute. But it's thick, it's rich, it's creamy, it's tasty, extremely sweet, very much like a chocolate shake, chocolate milkshake, but it is a nice tasty drink there. So excuse me there, I think I'm going to go straight to the Mexican style rice and beans. I'm going to have a look. So as you can see, I can see some sweet corn, I can see some beans of various types, there is rice in a brown sort of gravy, there is something green in there, I'm not sure if they're peas or lentils. Let's have a taste. Very basic flavours. It is salted, it is peppered. The beans are well cooked. They're rich or high in carbohydrate. You can feel them, they're like a paste. When you've chewed them, there is a paste in there. You can feel the paste. A little bit overcooked in my opinion. Some of the sweet corn there. Again, not so much on the heat. Plenty of salt, Plenty of pepper. The beans are extremely soft. Once you crush them, they go into like a paste in your mouth. There is a very filling meal. Something new to try. Some powdered hot sauce. This is the first time I've come across this in a US ration. And I've read the ingredients, and it does actually say paprika, red pepper, salt, few chemicals as always, and powdered hot sauce. So dehydrated powdered hot sauce. So I'm going to give that a little sprinkle. Very much like the old red pepper flakes. So there is some on there. I'm not going to go too much first until we know what we're dealing with. Too many times I've ruined the meal by putting too much in. I have got a relatively high tolerance for heat, but sometimes you can overdo it. Just adds a little more kick, a little more bite. Quite fiery. Here's a good job I didn't put more than that in. Mix it in well. Adds quite a lot of extra heat. Doesn't add any extra flavour. It is one to be careful of when I come across this in the future. For me, a reasonable sprinkle, not the whole packet. The whole packet would overdo it and ruin that small meal. But now, much more fiery, much more kick, and much more enjoyable. Let's refresh my palate there. Quite a fiery pepper powder. So, moving along, we've got the pretzel nuggets, honey and mustard flavour. So there is some little honey mustard pretzels. Crunchy, fresh, good quality. With the hot flavouring I've now got in my mouth from that pepper sauce, it's quite difficult to get a taste of the flavour. Nice flavour. To me, I can't taste honey or mustard. That said, it is still a nice tasting pretzel cracker biscuit. I'm just going to add a little bit to the beans and the rice, just to give it some crunch. Good accompaniment. Helps give these really soft beans some much needed crunch and texture. A few more broken ones. Nice, tasty addition. And for me, it's the best way of eating them. Obviously you could just throw them into your mouth, but they do go well and give those otherwise very soft and soggy beans a little bit more texture. I think I should have poured myself a little water as a palate cleanser. Moving on round, we have the well-known US MRE crackers. There is two crackers. Very simple, basic wheat cracker. Still nice and fresh. Not a lot of flavour. Just a simple white wheat cracker as a background base. A good background base for whatever you're eating. Goes great with the main meal, just like the pretzels, giving it some extra crunch. But to be honest, I think the pretzels go better because they add an extra flavour as well. This is more for a peanut butter base. There is nothing else to have the peanut butter with, so Relatively small pack of peanut butter. I think these are getting smaller, 1 ounce. I think they used to be 1.5 ounce, but standard US peanut butter. Never fails to let you down. It's quite dry, quite thirst provoking. It'd be much better with a bit of jam or jelly, but it's still a good quality peanut butter, smooth, not crunchy. And the cracker makes a great base of just some peanut butter crackers. I'm moving on round. I'll take a little look at this cranberry raspberry flavour first strike bar. So it's quite bendy and soft, very difficult to break. So it's got some little crispies in, little crunches in there. So I'm just going to take a bite off the side there. You do need good teeth, very chewy. Little bit of crispiness, a nice red fruit berry flavour. Quite sticky. Very able to remove fillings. You do need to make sure your teeth are in good state to enjoy those. That said, it is a sweet, chewy, tasty bit of after meal sweetness, packed full of energy with a nice red berry flavour. You just need to watch those fillings and crowns, where it is a nice, tasty, fruit flavoured energy bar. The only thing left is the cinnamon gum, because as I say, I'm going to finish this as my meal. I'll save these for later. I've had these many times before. They're normally a crispy shell, cinnamon flavoured, good flavour. 2 briquettes is more than enough to flavour fresh in your mouth, although I think with something with the hot sauce, mint might have been better. But that said, I find they're still an enjoyable, tasty, hot, good flavoured gum. I'm a little bit sticky, so I'm going to, after touching the first strike bar, so I'm going to have a look at the towelette again. If you're used to watching reviews of MREs, you'd have seen these many times before. They're usually very wet. This is very wet. So you can see my hands glistening. There's a lot of moisture on them, but they're quite weak. Paper-based towelette. No distinguishable real smell. Wouldn't get caked soil off your hands, but perfectly adequate for a quick wipe over and that freshening up feel. So overall, quite an enjoyable, tasty meal. There's nothing there I didn't particularly like or wouldn't have again. So I'm going to leave it there. Thanks for watching. Please like, share, subscribe and hit that notification button for future videos coming very soon. So thank you and goodbye.